Hello viewers, welcome back to Alpa Active Learning. Children, do like, share, comment and do suggest topics for the new video. Standard 8 General Science topic metals and non-metals. So as we all know that all the objects or materials are made from elements, compound or their mixtures, that is they are made from metals, which we learned in the previous lesson. We also learned that these elements are classified as metals, non-metals and metalloids. We know metalloids are the one which are midway between the metals and non-metals. We can say that they possess some property of metals and some property of non-metals. So today in this topic we are going to see how metals are different from non-metals with respect to their physical properties and chemical properties. So what is metals first? A metal is an element that readily forms positive ions and has metallic bonds. Now, in our everyday life, you have seen gold, platinum, copper, aluminium, ferrous, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, aurum and platinum as I said. Among all these, the most costliest and the precious metal is platinum. We are using all these metals in our daily life. First, an element that lacks most of the properties of metal is non-metal. They are carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, selenium, bromine, oxygen and many more. Let's see the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Are they same or they different? As I said, metals and non-metals are opposite. So definitely their properties will be opposite. The first property is physical state. So all the metals exist in solid state. As you can see, copper, silver, gold, iron and many more. But here there is an exception, that is mercury and the gallium. These are the two metals which exist in the liquid state. Mercury, you are familiar in the use of thermometer. The physical state of non-metals. They exist in all the three forms: solid, liquid and gaseous. Solids example carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. Liquid, it's a bromine is the only liquid, and gaseous fluorine, chlorine, nitrogen and oxygen. Property luster. What do you mean by luster? Luster is the way light is reflected from the surface of the mineral. So when a metal having a luster property, it has shining. So metals have luster. What about luster in non-metal? Yes children, diamond is glittering and iodine crystals also have luster, but these are the only two exceptions. Otherwise non-metals do not have luster. So remember this exceptions property of diamond and iodine crystal. The third property, hardness. Almost all the metals are hard. Again exceptions, sodium and potassium. You can cut sodium and potassium with the help of knife, but it is very difficult to cut iron or aluminium or steel with the help of knife. The same property if we see in the non-metals are brittle. They tend to break into powder form. We can see the sulfur powder, coal here. But again, exceptional. Yes, it's a diamond. It is the most hardest natural substance used to cut glass. So remember, non-metals are brittle and except diamond. The fourth property, ductility. What is ductility? When a metal is pulled through a hole, its wire is formed. This property of metal in forming wire is known as ductility. And you have seen this as tungsten filaments in the bulb. You have seen the variety of ornaments are made. Same way, platinum, copper carrier of electricity and many more materials are made from it, and in the same way aluminium also. So these are aluminium, copper, tungsten, gold, silver, platinum. These are all ductile. But children, non-metals are non-ductile. You cannot form wires from non-metals. Malleability. What is malleability? The property of a substance that describes its ability to be bent or hammered into thin sheet without breaking. You can make a foil or a very thin sheet of aluminium, copper, silver, iron. So metals are malleable. Highly malleable metals are gold, silver and aluminium. It says that a sheet with thickness of 1 upon 10,000 millimeter and a wire with diameter 1 upon 5,000 millimeter can be made from gold, and that's the reason if you see the gold jewelry, the very finest minute work of gold jewelry can be done because you can use this property of malleability. But what about in non-metals? They are non-malleable. So non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. The next property, conduction of heat and electricity. Now we know we are at home, we are using the copper utensil, aluminum utensils, and there are many other utensils. There are many gadgets are used in conduction of heat and electricity. So all the metals are very good conductors of heat and electricity. Among them, silver, copper and aluminum are the best one. Now, what about non-metals? In non-metals, they are bad conductor of heat and electricity, and that's why if you see the electrical wire, their insulations are made up of non-metals. But again the exceptional case here is graphite that you see in your pencil. You can do one activity here. The graphite is the conductor of electricity. So graphite is very good conductor of electricity, and it is used in battery and in the electronic gadgets. The next is density. The density of the metal, as you can see here, is very high. From aluminium, copper, gold is represented. But again here is an exceptional. Sodium, potassium and lithium, their density is less than water, and lithium is very less, it is 0.53 gram per cubic centimeter. Whereas we can say non-metals have low density. So metals have high density, non-metals have low density. Coming to melting and boiling point. Generally metals have high melting points and boiling points. Again there is an exceptional. Mercury, gallium, sodium and potassium, they have a low melting points and boiling points. Now in case of non-metals have low melting and boiling points. So except here carbon, boron, they melt at very high temperature. So depending upon this property, we use them in making a gadget, apparatus or various kind of compounds. Now sonority. What is sonority? It's an ability to produce sound on striking, and that's why a bell used in the school or in the temple or any musical instruments which has metals, it is because metals are sonorous. The same metals can be used in the doorbell to produce the sound with the help of electricity. So metals are sonorous, but non-metals are non-sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. Now, so we have seen that the physical properties of metals and non-metals are altogether different. However, exceptions are always there. So now we are going to see that the chemical properties of metals and how they differ from non-metals. The first is electronic configuration. If you see in the periodic table, children, see the electron distribution. For example, sodium, the atomic number 11, distribution is 2, 8, 1. Magnesium, symbol Mg, atomic number 12, electronic distribution 2, 8, 2. See aluminium, Al, atomic number 13, distribution of electrons 2, 8, 3. That of potassium, you can see symbol K, atomic number 19. So here 2, 8, 8 and 1. And in the case of calcium, Ca, atomic number 20, the electronic distribution is 2, 8, 8, 2. So here we can see that in their outermost orbit, they have number of electrons up to 3, either 1, 2 or 3 in their outermost orbit. So metals have up to 3 electrons in their outermost orbit. Now let's see the electronic configuration of non-metals. We have taken the example of nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, phosphorus and sulfur. The symbols are N, O, F, P and S. Now, nitrogen, atomic number 7, electronic distribution 2 and 5. Oxygen 8, 2 and 6. Fluorine 9, 2 and 7. That of phosphorus 15, 2, 8, 5. Sulfur 2, 8, 6. So if you see here, most of the non-metals have 4 to 7 electrons in their valence shell. Now 4, that is in carbon. So number of in carbon it is C6. So it has the valence electron 4. The next property is formation of ion. And we know that formation of ions depend upon the number of electrons present in the outermost orbit. So sodium, as we know, sodium has only 1 electron left. So it is easy for sodium to loses out the electron. As a result, sodium after losing electron becomes sodium ion, positive ion, as 1 electron is left. The negative charge is less. In case of magnesium, 2 electrons in the outermost orbit, they will lose the 2 electrons, thereby change to magnesium ion, and these are the positive charge will increases, so magnesium ion will be positive. In case of aluminium, 3 electrons are lost and hence aluminium ion will form, which has positive charges. The number of charges are here 13 positive charges. That means here the positive ion is formed. So metals have a tendency to lose their valence electrons to form positively charged ion known as cations. But in case of non-metals, look at chlorine. It has 2, 8 and 7. It needs only 1 electron to complete the octet. So it will gain an electron. When you are gaining, one more negative charge is increasing, and hence chlorine turns to be chloride ion with 18 negative charges. Similarly, sulfur, 16 electrons, it needs only 2 electrons to complete the octet. By gaining electrons, convert into sulfide ion having negative 18 charges. Similarly, fluorine has 9 electrons, so 2 and 7, it needs only 1 electrons to complete the octet. So by gaining 1 electron, fluorine turns to fluoride ion. So we can summarize that non-metals have a tendency to accept electrons in their valence shell to form negatively charged ion called anions. That means, children, non-metals forms negatively charged anion and metals forms positively charged cation. The third is metal reactions with oxygen. Let's take an example. Here we are taking a gas charge full of oxygen gas and you keep magnesium ribbon. We can see the magnesium ribbon here, it's burning and giving the white flame because of magnesium oxide. Similarly, all the other metals, they will burn with the and giving the different colors of flame, like potassium, you can see purple, sodium yellow, lithium red, calcium yellowish, and copper greenish color flame. So, metal combined with oxygen to form their oxides, metal plus oxygen giving metal oxide. So this could be potassium oxide, sodium oxide, lithium oxide, calcium oxide and copper oxide. Now what about with non-metals then? Non-metals also react with oxygen and it will form their corresponding oxide, dioxide, that is carbon with oxygen, carbon dioxide, sulfur with oxygen, sulfur dioxide. And these particular oxides again will react with the sodium hydroxide from sodium carbonate. Oxides, that is carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, react with water to form respective acids such as carbonic acid, sulfurous acid and sulfuric acid. In short, non-metal react with oxygen to form non-metal oxide. Metal reaction with acid. Let us take a metal here, and if you keep some metal pieces into dilute hydrochloric acid, you can see the bubbles of hydrogen gases coming out. Look at here again, a magnesium strip is kept in a test tube having dilute acid and the bubbles are rising to the surface. Now this gas which is coming out is hydrogen gas. That metal when react with dilute acid, the salt will form and hydrogen gas will be released. But non-metal do not react with dilute acid. There is no reaction between metals and dilute acids. Metal reaction with water. When the metal is kept in the water, you all can see here metal, I have kept potassium, sodium and lithium. You can observe the metal like sodium and potassium react with cold water to produce their hydroxide, and again here also hydrogen gas is released. So non-metal do not directly react with water, but their oxides react with water to form corresponding carbonic acid which we see. Now children, there are certain metals which are termed as noble metals. Which are they? They are gold, silver, platinum, palladium and rhodium. And what are the uses of this? These metals are used to prepare ornaments, so they are very precious and very costly. Silver has an antibacterial property, thereby used in medicines. Gold and silver, you know, they are used to give medals for honoring someone's talent. Gold and silver also used to make few electronic devices. You all know gold leaf electroscope. Platinum, palladium metals are used as catalysts, so they do not directly take part in the chemical reaction, but their mere presence make the chemical reaction fast. The purity of the gold is a very precious metal, and it's a dream of every woman to have the gold ornaments. But this purity of gold is determined by the carat count. If a gold has the carat 24, that means it is 100% pure gold. If it is 22 carat, it has 91.7% gold and 8.3% other metals. 18 carat means only you have 75% of gold, whereas 25% is other metals mixed. 14 carat, only 58% of gold it constitute, and the rest is 42% is other metals. And when I say 10 carat, means the percentage of gold is only 42%. But children, remember, 100% pure gold ornaments is not possible because even gold is soft, and hence in practice we only the goldsmith will give you the gold ornaments having 22 carats. That means we are also paying the same amount. The cost of 8.3 other metals cost us the same as that of the gold. So whenever you go to buy gold ornaments, do check do check the carats. Never buy any such ornaments having carats less than 22 carats. Now our next subtopic is corrosion. You have seen corrosion. Only thing you don't know the scientific reason behind them. Corrosion means junk lagna. So you have seen the corrosion in iron, copper, aluminium and zinc. Their colors are changing. The iron get rusted. Whereas the copper utensils, the color is changed and you have to use imli, pitambari or tamarind and they will again shine back. Now why this happens? Gases in the air react with metals in presence of moisture to form metal compounds. The metals get affected by this process and undergo what is called corrosion. So this is the effect of gases in the air. The silver ornaments, they become black in the color. Many times silver idols become black because silver react with air and silver sulfide is formed. Same way for iron with moist air, it get rusted. And that's why all the implements, especially in agriculture implements, you need to wipe them and keep it where there is no moisture and you have to cover them. Otherwise, these implements get rusted. Copper, again with the carbon dioxide form copper carbonate. Children, do you know Statue of Liberty, a very famous statue in New York? It was made up of copper, but because of this corrosion, now the color is changed to blue color. This is the effect of corrosion because the statue is also kept in an island and hence there is a continuous effect of moisture. But the Qutub Minar at Delhi, which was made more than 1500 years ago, made from an alloy, and today also there is no effect of gases because our ancestors knew the technique of making an alloy. So we should really indeed take proud of our India, which was so advanced in this during that time also. Now, what is an alloy then? A homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or a metal with non-metal is called an alloy. You learn about the bronze medal, right? You have seen this as a solder material. The steel. So all the steel which we are using, the brass, the bronze, the solder, they are the best example of an alloy. Brass is made up of copper and zinc, bronze, copper and tin, solder, tin and lead, and stainless steel, iron, chromium and nickel. Yes, the percentage and the constituent may vary depending upon the good quality of stainless steel or the good quality of the respective alloys. Now these alloys are very important, children. We are using not only in the musical instrument, in making statues, in computers, vehicle. You have heard the alloy wheels, but mobile phones, chairs, even in engineering and medical equipment also, and variety of the equipments, materials that are used, tools, they all are made up of alloys. We have learned about metals and non-metals. Many times children feel that why we should learn all these things, but you don't know. Our everyday life is influenced by use of these metals and non-metals only. For example, all the construction of building, dams or anything or the smallest spare parts of vehicles, they are made up of metals. Even all your tools, they are also made up of metals. So all the machineries, tools and the constructions business, they need metals. Second, all type of utensil at your home, whether it is made up of copper, silver, gold, bronze, brass or stainless steel and aluminium, all utensils are made up of these metals only. Now just think how much influence of this metal at our home. Then all kind of transportations. Yes children, your bicycle or your transport vehicles, truck and even your aircraft. the railways and the railway structures, and of course the car, the your metro and the mono with the gondola, all kind of transportations, these things are made up of metals only. Apart from this, they are used in the medical field. So you all know at home everybody has a thermometer and it has mercury inside. Now, your mommy is packing the food in aluminum foil, and the medicine you are taking from the chemist. This strips is made up of also aluminum, and of course aluminum wire, aluminum utensils we have already discussed. Now, uses of non pencil. All the students, you have used this. It's a part and parcel of our school life. But the same is also used in the battery cells. Coal, a very important fossil fuel we are using. Nowadays that percentage has changed. Diamond, of course, is an ornamental. How can you forget this fire extinguisher? So here we know it is used carbon dioxide to extinguish the fire. But it is also used in the product like soft drink. And we know that without the carbon dioxide, the process of photosynthesis is not possible. So these are the uses of carbon and the carbon. It's allotropes at a period where everybody are using laptop, mobiles, the TV, if you can see the DVDs, all these things here we are using. So remember all our electronic gadgets, somewhere we are using. Apart from this oxygen, you cannot live without oxygen, and oxygen is a non-metal. Your RBC also need oxygen where it forms hemoglobin. At your home, all the kind of detergent, your cleaners, they are made up of non-metals. Of course, these non-metals are used in the pesticide as a fertilizers. Nitrogen gas nowadays children is used in the tires. You know about this. And of course, oxygen is used in the hospitals also. Apart from these firecrackers, everyone know. Do you know all the different colors of these firecrackers are because of metals and non-metals used in them. For example, white color is because of aluminium, green because of barium, blue, copper. The red color is because of lithium and strontium. The shining is because of ferrous, and the yellow color is because of copper. So a huge celebration of Diwali or the 31st of December or the marriage is all because of this use of metals and non-metals in the firecracker. Apart from this, children, phosphorus is used as a fertilizer in the matchsticks, as a dynamite, and as a gunpowder also the phosphorus is using. We have to use all the metals and the non-metals adequately without wasting them. Thank you so much, and yes, don't forget to subscribe.